So we've treated this topic under documentation, but we didn't. We treated it at a very high level. So with what we did that time, for me, it wasn't enough for you to really sit down and draft a project charter. And that's why we are repeating it. Like I said, some of those documents, they are equally a technique or a core concept in project management. Some of the things required by the project manager. So let's define project charter. A project charter is a formal document that authorizes the start of a project. It provides a clear statement of objective, scope, stakeholders, and overall direction. Meaning that is a small document that captures everything about that project and gives power to the project manager to start the project. It's authorization. You know, if you look at project brief have captured everything. It's just your first meeting with the project sponsor to understand what you people are into. But to get authorization, you need a project charter. That gives you the power as a leader in that project to start executing the project, inviting team members, directing, monitoring, controlling, spending. This is the one document that gives you power over that project, and it's very, very important document. I always tell people that even if your organization, they are not so particular about it, this particular document, for me, you are creating it more for yourself, not for the organization, because some of the organizations that are not very detailed, once a project brief is created, they will say they don't need project charter. What for? It's a waste of time, or is a repetition of activity. Because if you look at project brief, almost everything in project brief is equally contained in project charter, but it does not give you authorization to do anything. So if you are working in public sector, it's very, very important to make sure you have an authorization to spend any money, because it might be going good, it might be rosy when the project is starting, but project is all about risk. When the risk eventually comes, you find out that it will no longer be rosy. And some of the people that are singing for you when it was rosy, when it becomes sour, they will all disappear, and you will face the music. You know, I remember telling you people using a situation of former central bank governor. Most of the thing the central bank governor were doing, he wasn't doing it in isolation. Yes, he must be recklessly doing a lot of things where he didn't do proper due diligence, like having a project charter is a due diligence in project. You might just receive order from the president, do this. That particular president will not be there forever. You need a document where the president will put his or her signature asking you to do that, authorizing you. So it's very, very important. And I will not overflog this issue, but it's important for you so that you won't find yourself in a situation I've got a friend who just, when we're doing a cross-trade project, and he's a big project manager, highly respected. Everybody, we are looking up to him. Everybody, we are envying him as a project manager in these big projects. And just one little mistake. There are two of them have to spend like 4 years in jail for that. So it can happen to anybody as a project manager. So, and it's one of the reasons why so many people, I know so many of my friends who are dodging from becoming project managers. They prefer to become business analysts, working along. They make a lot of money as well, because project manager comes with a lot of responsibilities. And this is one document that will help to protect you when it comes. So the purpose is for officially sanctioning the project, outlining its purpose, and providing the project manager with the authority to allocate resources. Like when I say allocate resources, where I'm meaning allocating resources, we have budget. Every project have budget. That is the time you can now have the power to start spending money. And a lot of project managers have power to even hire people. With that, you can equally hire people depending on the agreement. So, but these are ways project charter can empower you. So let's look at various components if you're planning to create a project charter, things that need to be captured. So we have the project title, a concise name for the project purpose and justification, the reason for initiating the project, explain the business need or problem the project aims to address, objectives, clear specific goals the project is intended to achieve. And it should align with the organizational strategic goal. So a lot of project goals, you must make sure that is aligned to within the strategic goal of the organization. And then scope, you have to define what is to be included in that particular project, outline the boundaries and deliverables. It's very, very key. These boundaries, understand your boundaries as a project manager. This is a very key way of avoiding project scope creep. Then highlights the high-level requirements, summarize the key requirements and expectations of stakeholders. You must have, while doing this, you cannot do it alone. You must have a meeting with the stakeholders before you start drafting all these things. If you have had a project brief will become a foundation or a blueprint for you to do this. You can use a project brief, create this, and just add authorization, have another meeting with the project sponsor to review it and authorize it. You must capture major milestones and key deliverable with approximation of at this point is just expected dates. So you must capture this. Then budget estimate, provide a high-level estimate of the budget, the financial resources, assumptions and constraints. List the key assumptions that underpin the project plan. Identify constraints that might impact the project. Then identify key stakeholders, including the project sponsor, project manager, and project team members. You must list all of them at this point. Over time, they can be joining. More people might be joining. Project charter can be updated. So, and then define their roles and responsibilities. At this point, you must define the roles and responsibilities of all the team members, everybody that's involved in this project. What they are in for this project must be defined and clearly stated. What everybody needs to do must be captured within the project charter. Identification of risk, preliminary identification of potential risk. Even before starting a project, you can visualize areas you have a risk. You don't need to start a project before you know that there is potential areas of risk. For instance, overshooting your budget, overshooting your timeline. These are potential areas risk can come from. So you make appropriate arrangement, mitigation plans, risk mitigation plans for all these risks. Then project approval requirements. Define the criteria for project success and approval. Specify who has the authority to approve the project, and then project manager authority. Clearly outline the authority level of the project managers and include decision maker power and resource allocation. So this is just components. If you do not know how to do it, if you have not done it before with this component, even if without you don't have any templates, following this itemization one after the other, you have created a very beautiful project charter for your organization or for your project. So now we've seen the components, let's dive into trying to create one. First is initiation. You gather preliminary information and align with the organizational goal. Engage stakeholders to understand their expectation and requirements. And then drafting. Complete information into the structure format. Use clear and concise language. Review and feedback. Circulate the draft among the key stakeholders for feedback. Make necessary revision based on their input. Like I said already, you've already had a meeting with the stakeholder when you are drafting a project brief. That can become a foundation for you to start creating a project charter. With that, you can start reviewing the project charter, adding some of the areas like authorization section. With that, you're already making a headway. Approval. Obtain formal approval from the project sponsor or senior manager. Ensure that all stakeholders have signed off on the project charter. You know, the key stakeholder, most of the time, we only have project sponsor and project manager signature within the project charter. So that gives you authorization. Once that's done, distribution, share the final project charter with all the relevant parties. Make sure that everybody that's supposed to have a copy must get a copy. and ensure it's accessible throughout the project's life cycle. It's not a hidden document. It's a very transparent document. You can't say it's my document. You can't question anybody for trying to have access to the project charter. I've had the experience where some project managers, they feel that some document belongs to them. In project management, every document belongs to every person that have a stake in that project, meaning all the stakeholders. They should have access to that. All the document like project charter, all the team members, they should have access so that they can understand what the project stands for and who is who in that particular project. Then benefits of the project charter, you can see number one is authorization. Officially authorizes the project manager, authorizes the project and the project manager. 2, clarity, provide a clear and shared understanding of the project objective, scopes, and stakeholders. And alignment, ensure alignment with organizational goals and stakeholders' expectation. And guidance, it serves as a reference point for project planning and execution. And accountability, establishes roles and responsibilities, enhancing accountability. So this is one document that it's directing everybody on what to do. It's like you as a project manager, this should be your compass. It should be a guide for you on that project. You know what to do. It's your authority book. You should consult it all the time. You know, it protects you so much, even when stakeholders are trying to bring unnecessary changes to your project. You can use this as a reference point to guide yourself. You know, there's something we call throwing requirement from the window in projects. It happens all the time. If you are not experienced, you see people, a lot of people will mess your project up. For instance, if you are implementing a CRM system have got a lot of modules, which you decide which one to choose. Maybe you just decide to, the company at the moment have hired you to implement a CRM system to cover only sales. You know, sales module. We have sales modules and we have marketing. For instance, in Dynamics 365, we have Dynamics 365 sales, CRM sales. We have Dynamics 365 CRM marketing. We have Dynamics 365 customer service and field service. So organization can choose to start their journey from one point. They can say, okay, we are starting, you know, transformation of sales and marketing department. We are going to start by implementing a CRM system with one module, sales module. So if you are implementing sales module, it must be captured as a scope, that this is the in-scope, what you are doing in project charter. And if you are very clever, you should capture something like marketing module. You should capture customer service module. You should capture field service module. These 3 service module, you should capture them as out of scope and capture sales module as in scope. So when some of these big stakeholders, they want to throw something from the window, they want to tell you, hey, Mr. Charles, please, we really want these marketing models badly at this point. All you need to do is direct them to because every models you are being captured within that project charter, you must have captured the budget for that particular single model. So if they are asking you to add another model, if you are myopic or if you are just starting, not experienced, so many of us you will just say, okay, sir. You just say, okay, sir, because you want to keep your job or because you want to please them. But as a matter of fact, that point, so like I was saying, at that point, you're already shooting yourself on the leg. So once they want to bring in requirements that are not captured within the project charter, direct them to project charter. If they insist, let them make the necessary adjustments, make provision for extension of timeline, make provision for extension of budget to cover the additional requirement. Once that is done, then you can capture that. But the main thing is that you already have a reference point, a document that is helping to protect you from these people or see this situation, that will help you to make these people to do the right thing. So the best practice for an effective project charter, like you said earlier, engage stakeholders early, involve key stakeholders in the creation process to ensure that their need and expectation are captured. Be clear and concise, avoid jargons, and ensure the document is easy to understand. Align with the strategic goal, ensure the project align with the broader strategic goal of the organization. Regularly updates. While the project charter is a foundational document, it should be reviewed and updated if significant change occurs. Like I said, it's not a static document. Most documents we are creating, they are foundational documents. As the project keep progressing, you might start seeing changes. You see that the business analyst you started with have gotten another job somewhere and decided to abandon you guys. And you big guys need to go look for another BA. So these are big changes occurring. People are leaving, people are coming in, people are leaving. So yeah, that is the need for update. And stakeholders' appetite keep on growing. They keep on wanting more from you. So if they now, you started with sales models, like I give as an example, and they are now requesting for marketing model, and they are making the necessary adjustments and empowering you to capture these other models or make changes, why not? You capture them, but all this, you keep on updating the project charter as the project, moves on. So, utilize standard template to ensure consistency and comprehensiveness. Most organizations, they develop a template so that you don't just come have different types of projects, charter with people. The main thing, you captured something, but you see some people, you go to one organization, you see different type of project chart. They go, so meaning that Project charter is project charter, but people can do it their own way. So companies tend to have a template. Like I said, even my current company, when I joined, they didn't have some of what I have to insist. No, in anything I do, we must use it. Some of the times they start laughing me, Charles, you are very, you are not. I say yes, because I have to protect my. When it start happening, the way you are laughing with me now, you are not going to laugh with me again. So I make sure that some of all these things will have them. I have to protect myself, you know, so that if anything happening, I know that I tried as much as I can to protect myself. So the project charter is a crucial document that sets the foundation for a successful project. It provides clear authorization, defines project purpose and scope, and outlines key rules and responsibilities by ensuring all stakeholders have a shared understanding and agreement. Not only that they understand what the project is all about, but they agreed that this is what should be done. So if you are following what is in the project charter, directing, monitoring, controlling to achieve that goal, you are implementing agreement. You are not doing what you feel. Some people think that once you become a project manager, you start doing everything you do as a project manager is not your brainchild. You didn't conceive any of them. You are just there to implement what is agreed to be done. The project charter helps in steering the project towards achieving its objective effectively, efficiently, and effectively. So this is a simple template for project charter. So these are a template I've been using for a long time, which I have to upload for you guys to use. But I didn't use this template to capture this project charter. It's just to show you that.
Hello, sorry, Mr. Charles. Sorry, I had to cut you in. Can you zoom a little? It's tiny. Can you zoom it out a little? Thank you.
No, it cannot be zoomed. It's in a Word document. So I'm going to share a document. This I said this is a template. It's just a picture. I'm going to give a full listing of this particular. So don't worry about it. So I'm going to have a full copy of this. Or when you download the copy, this cannot be. Even if I start expanding it still.
It's okay. Thank you, sir.
Well, don't worry. We're going to have a full copy of it for you to play around with. So that if you are going to market, you can create a project charter for your shopping. You know, shopping is a project. Everything is a project. So you look at this template, you see that this template captures everything you need to have. From here, you see it captures the problem you are trying to solve. Here, the goal statement captures the goal, the project objective. As we are solving this problem, what do you plan to achieve? That is the goal. That is the objective. Who is the leader in this project? This is the project leader. The project manager, you are the leader. You know, if we are starting, when you are starting as a project manager, some of us might be having cold feet, might be thinking that other people, but you are the leader. You should know that you are the leader. Project managers are leaders, is a big leadership role. It's not a small role like so many of us might be thinking. It's very big leadership role. As you can see, If you don't have an experienced project manager, the whole system will start having issues. Nigeria is a big project, and the project manager is our president. So we appointed the president, elected the president to manage Nigeria as a project for 4 years. So he's the leader. Then here we'll capture the project approach. You must state the approach you are going to use from the beginning. Everybody needs to agree. For instance, so many organizations already have standard approach they use. These are what the project management office does. In so many cases, so many companies that are very, very structured, they have project management office. Project management office, and there is a role that is very, very popular these days, project management officers. Project management officers, they are not project managers. They oversee their phase of project management office. What they do is that they provide templates like this for the organization so that everybody managing, you can see up to 30 project managers managing 3 different types of projects. And for documentation to be uniformed, everybody must be using the same template. So they'll make it accessible for everything to be uniform. So at this point, they are the people that are in charge to decide the project approach. But if in some organization where they do not have project management office, then it's the duty of the team. If they give you the authority, then you have to decide which approach. But the point is that you have to capture the approach you are going to use in the project charter. It's either you are going to use a structured approach like waterfall, or you are going to use flexible approach like agile approach. Then you see here we have team, project team. You capture their team, all their names and their roles, and then we have support personnel. We have what we call project support personnel, and most of them comes like project coordinators, project support officers. And the other team members can be business analysts, developers. But you see, project support personnel, these are the supports that are supporting the project manager. These are project support officers. They are big people in the project as well because it does a lot of administrative work. You capture them here, their names and role. Scope, capture the project scope here. And it's important equally to capture both in scope and out of scope here. They just say scope. So in scope, for you, if you experience it in scope, you capture those in scope. Then you say out of scope, you capture everything within this scope. Then deliverables, what need to be delivered, within this scope, you can capture all the things that need to be delivered within this scope. And then start dates and expected completion date. Every project must have an end date from the starting date. That will tell you, do this within 2 months, don't do that within 3 months. Like in our own, we've already agreed that it's going to be 3 months. And then we can have 1 month grace extra if we are falling short of time. Some people might not give you any grace. They'll just tell you 3 months. So then you capture milestone. Milestone are key stages when you're achieving great things in your projects. These are milestones. For instance, where we've broken the project into 4 stages or 4 phases. You can say at the end of every phase, that is going to be a milestone. For instance, at that stage, there is a concluding document, one document that will summarize. For instance, you see business case. At times, use business case to summarize some, more especially in software development. So these are key documents you can produce at the end of every stage. You can decide that this is going to be my milestone. Once we produce this deliverable, we celebrate. We've achieved something. It's just like quarterly, can use it as quarterly, biannually, like in a year. So it's stages of progress, marking stages of progress, and when you are expecting another major breakthrough in your project, and you have to capture what it looks like and the dates and signatories. You need to capture signatures of key personnel. Key personnel here are, number 1 is the leader, and number 2 is the owner. The owner might not be the leader. He owns the project, that's the project sponsor, but the person that is leading the project is the project manager. If anything goes wrong, the project manager is going to come forward for questioning. So the project manager will sign and the project sponsor will sign. You are the project manager, you are signing, agreeing that you have accepted to lead this project. And the project sponsor is equally, like I said, it's an agreement. It's agreeing that he has accepted you to lead this project and giving you the authority to lead this project, to spend money, to hire, at times fire and recruit. Depends on, although these days they are beginning to find a way to limit the power of project manager, because so many of them, it do get into their head as project managers. They start behaving and it start affecting everybody within the project. Some people will no longer be happy because the project manager is too authoritative, too this, he can never laugh, don't play, don't joke, or is do this, have you done that? And that is why Agile is becoming popular, because they want a more servant leader that can become friend of team members. But we're coming to that. So this is how a project charter should look like. It's like I said, a template. You're using a template. But if you like, you can use a template. I've been using this template in so many of all my projects. This particular project charter I captured here, I did not use this template to capture this project charter. So that's it. So like I said, all of why I did this is because for you to have variety, know that project charter can come in so many templates. So looking at this project charter for Nearas.com, we capture the project title as Nearas.com Nigeria market entry, the project purpose of justification to expand Nearas.com's user base into the Nigeria market by offering a localized platform and targeted marketing campaign. The objective is to achieve 500,000 new user registered on Nearas.com in Nigeria within the first 6 months of launch, increase brand awareness and engagement in the Nigeria market, generate revenue through marketplace transactions and subscription and advertising, And then Scoop, market research, platform localization, marketing strategy development, user acquisition, and customer support setup. High-level requirements. Localized platform with Nigerian languages. Mobile optimization, payment integration, effective marketing campaign targeting Nigerian audience. Milestone, market research completion. Platform at so date. Platform localization at so date. Marketing campaign launch at so date. 500 user acquisition at so date. Budget, estimated budget amount, you put it. Assumptions, necessary resources, and budget will be allocated for the project. Constraints, project timeline may be impacted by unforeseen circumstances or delays in development or marketing activities. Stakeholders, project sponsor, their name, project manager, their name, market research team, you have to list their names. Marketing team, you need to list their names. Business development team, you need to list their name. Development team, you need to list their name. Operations team, you need to list their name. Analytics team, you list their name. Then risk. Number one risk is difficulty attracting new users in a competitive market like Nigeria, where we have already existing giants like Facebook. Technical challenges during platform localization. Then project approval requirements. Approvals. Project sponsor or senior manager, sign and date. Project manager, sign and date. Then project manager authority. Here you clearly specify the authority of project manager. Authorized to allocate resources, make decision within the project and scope, and manage project team. So this is a project charter for this particular upcoming project. So that's it. I think at this point, even if you cannot do it now, by the time you go through these documents and watch the video, you should be able to create a better project charter, even one that is better than my own. So that is it. And yeah, got any question? I think we're still on time, so finishing by, yeah. So I have another meeting by 8:30, so we have to start to have questions. We'll be entertaining questions till around like 10 minutes to that time. So thank you for listening. So it's time for you to come up with your questions if you've got any. So the first person I can see here is Queen Wanadi. If you are there, you come up with your question. Queen, are you there? Okay, like Queen is not here. We'll call Kenneth Obonna.
Mr. Charles, good evening.
Hi, Kenneth.
Hi. Yeah, on the scope, you mentioned the in scope and out scope. Please, can you explain more?
I say that in scope is things that you should capture within the project, and out of scope are things that shouldn't capture within the project. So there's a things that might be very, we call it good to have. It might look so beautiful, tempting for you to, well, you need to create a boundary. One need to be done and one need to be done. If you have situations like that, I use the example when you are trying to, if you want to implement a CRM system, I say that in CRM, we have a lot of modules in CRM system. We have sales modules, you have marketing modules. If you are being contracted to implement sales module, because sales module and marketing module are very, very interrelated and most of the time goes together, but you have been mandated to implement sales module at that point, make sure you create marketing module as out of scope so that you won't make a mistake and go, or by any chance start implementing what is not required. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very clear.
Yeah. So okay, we have Choma. Choma, are you here? Okay, we have Adora Nochiri.
Good evening, Mr. Charles.
Hi, sir. I'm
Thank
here,
you
sir.
for your class.
Yeah.
My question is,
Your network is a bit poor.
Yeah, I'm having
Okay.
network issue.
When
That's
you-
right.
Can you hear me now, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Is when can you say the project has started? Is it when the project manager the project starts, or when the
I cannot.
likewise?
I don't know if it's me. Is struggling to capture what you are saying. If any other person is hearing her very well, maybe you can, because the network is cracky, shaky. Or the only reason I can hear
Personally, I can't hear her too.
is,
Okay.
the only thing I
Can you hear me
hear
now,
you
sir?
say, yes.
Okay, my question is, when can you actually say that a project has started? Is it when the project manager has appointed, the project charter is signed, or when it is the project actually starts?
Okay.
And then my
When
second question
the project starts, when the project charter has been approved. You know, when the authorized signatories sign the project charter, that is when the project starts. Every other things are preliminary to the normal preparation. After the preparation, they might start, we don't need this project again. But we have started preparing. That doesn't mean that the project has started. So you're just trying to understand what is all about this project. So, but by the time the project charter is ready, you see you all fully understand what is expected. And that's it. So it's just like the team, the football team, they cannot, the match cannot start until they are into the pitch and the referee says start. Every other thing going to training is preparation for the match. So every other thing you are doing, trying to capture briefing, breakdown structure. These are preparation, in preparation to start the project. But when the project starts is when you have authorization. You know, some people start without, like I said, a lot of people start projects without project charter, and they finish their project and nothing happened. You know, but what we are saying is the best practice if you are using a project charter. So that's it. Is that clear?
Thank you. Yes, yes, Mr. Charles. Then my second question
No, we can't have
maybe
second
due to
question.
the size.
Madam, we cannot take two questions. The other one, put it at the comment section because we have other people raising hands. If we finish and we still have time, then we can handle second question. So, Chairman, are you still having network problem?
No. Good evening, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, I wanted to ask question based on the milestone. Please, can you shed more light on it?
I said that milestone, if you are starting a project, you must, like, you see, we have stages or phases of our project. So milestones should be key stages where you have had a breakthrough or where you have achieved something tangible within that project. You can say that at this so stage, when we achieve this, is going to be our milestone. Then you capture it as milestone. So it's left for you to choose what is going to be a milestone. You are the project manager. You break the project down into stages. Know your key deliverables. I use something like within the initiate stage, I use a deliverable like business case. You know, some people can say project charter becomes their key deliverable once they, because initiate stage is mainly preparation stage. So you can say that is a breakthrough. We have a breakthrough that our project, we have gotten a project charter, meaning that this project have actually started. It can be a milestone. Another milestone can be you start planning, designing, depending on the kind of project. If it's like software development, you start planning, you start designing. The business analyst will go into action, start designing, creating product backlog and things like that. And at the end of the day, the business analyst might decide to create test plan or test cases, which might be the end of the design stage. That can be a milestone. So these are key stages of your project. So you can choose whichever way, whatever is going to be your key milestone, your key deliverables within a stage where you and your team will celebrate. It's a breakthrough in project. Key stages of achieving breakthroughs. So that will help you to know that you are progressing and you are expecting when to arrive at that milestone. If you are not arriving at that milestone at the expected time, then you should know that you are struggling in your project. Is that clear?
Yes, sir. It's understandable now. Thank
Okay,
you.
we have Enoch Obi. Well, okay, Enoch is not here. We have Adezi Odionye.
Good evening, Mr. Charles. Okay,
Yeah,
my question is actually not it's not actually in what you just told us today. I've been thinking as a project manager, you said that you don't really need to know how to execute. As in, you don't really need to. For example, if you're a project manager to to a particular building that you're handling, and you're not supposed to be. It's not a must that you know how to wire the electricity or mixing the cement and all that. So, but I've been thinking, if you don't know anything about that particular project, or you're a project manager, how would you now know the teams that you're supposed to hire for this project?
Most of the time you do not hire, but if you are meant to hire, you have human resources that can help you to do that. They are trained to do that. All you need is you need a business analyst, contact human resources. That's how it's done. You don't go and start putting advertisements. You tell human resources we need more hands, and this is what we need. They are trained to know the right people to hire for you. Is that clear?
Yes, I thank you.
Okay.
Hello, Mr. Charles, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. While you were calling, I had a little network issue.
Okay.
Can I go ahead with my questions now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for well-articulated lectures. I wanted to ask, producing the project charter, is it an exclusive reserve of the project manager, or the project stakeholders has an input, or they just tell him the project and he goes ahead to do that while they sign? And does it have a particular is producing a project charter, is it variable, is it flexible in nature, or it just has a static format that must be used? Thank you, sir.
Okay. Yeah, first question is whether is it the exclusive duty of the project manager. Yes, as a project manager, you should be the person that spearhead that, because we are talking about what you are going to do. You need to understand what you are going to do. You need to understand your scope. So that's why it should be a duty to lead this process. And you can't do it in isolation. I made it clear. You need to work around with the relevant stakeholders, more especially the project sponsors. I said equally, you can even use a project brief as a starting point, as a foundational document to create project charter, and keep reviewing it with the stakeholders and keep asking questions. If the project charter help the project manager to make sure that the project manager really have good clarity of what that project is all about, what they are going to be doing. So that is it. And the second one is whether there is a particular format. Organization, I made it clear that you can use templates. So many organizations where I brought in the role of project management office, they create different templates. So if your organization have a template to use, you use your organizational structure. They provided it for you. If they don't have a template, then you can create your own and for them to adopt, but you must have a project charter if you are serious in managing your project. That's why I showed you people a template which we have been using, but I created another project charter which I did not create out of that template. So I think I've answered your question very well.
Yes, sir, you've done justice to it. Thank you so much.
Okay. Selimat, Oye Lami, Selimat. Okay, maybe.
Good evening, Mr. Charles.
Okay, good evening.
Mr. Enoch already asked my question and you've provided answer to it, so I think I'm satisfied. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, we'll have Jinky Cindy.
Good evening, Mr. Charles. So, question is, does the role of a project like a project manager also like direct direction? Hey, can you hear me, sir?
I can't hear you. Okay, I can't hear you, but you can start again.
Okay, I said, sir, does the role of a project manager also comes with direct disbursement of funds? If it does, what if in a situation whereby, as a project manager that I am, that due to some constraint that I cannot disburse, like I cannot disburse the funds directly to what is needed to do? Don't even understand my question.
Disbursing of funds like
Disbursement of funds.
procurement, or well, all I know is that a project I made it clear about the duty of a project manager, and even the project charter which I created, I gave a clear authority that is bestowed on the project manager, which I will have to share it again for clarity. If you are following, you should have seen this section of this project charter, where we see the authority of a project manager.
Wait, let me go and fight for you.
Can you
Yeah,
people see this project manager authority? Please, if you want me to attend to your question, you need to let me attend to it. We have three here. We have here authorization, authorized to allocate resources. We already said that. Make decisions within scope, and then manage team. So number one of these have answered your question, that the project manager have the authority to allocate resources.
But I'm asking, what if in a situation whereby, like, I have some constraint that can cause me to not disburse the funds at that particular time?
Like what?
Like maybe not having a dollar account and all that.
What do you mean dollar account? In what situation? How does dollar account need to have to do with disbursing of funds? In which situation? Let us understand your point very well, because I don't know how having dollar account.
Like for instance, I'm working on maybe a wedding event planning project, and the event is not taking place in my own country, like where I'm working from, and we don't use the same currency. So that will make me not to have the access to disburse the fund directly to what is needed for.
Then you get there's so many ways to do that. We have PayPal, so you can't just relax that you don't have dollar account. It doesn't take you in a situation like it doesn't take you 30 minutes to create a PayPal account. We've been sending money across the globe, so I don't see that as an excuse why you shouldn't be able to do procurement. So people that doesn't have this in, maybe want to pay. I work with developers here. So many developers I work at, they are based in India, and I pay them, easily. So these are, I don't think that is a big deal. So if you don't have a dollar account and your job requires dollar account, you create one. Is that a big deal?
No, sir. No, sir.
So,
No.
so I don't see that an excuse. Or you think that project manager is just relax and be drinking tea and pressing computer. There are some things you need to do. You don't just, you have to do, go outside and do, if anybody is having challenges, you go solve the person's problem. So that is a project manager's duty. So you already have the authority to spend the money. So I don't see the reason why the world is highly globalized that you can spend the money anyhow you want it. If it becomes so difficult, you have cryptos. You can use it to send money anywhere you want to send. So I think that shouldn't be a situation you are having, dispersing of fun. We have Victoria Aishi.
Good evening, sir. Okay, my question is in retrospect to Adese's question. I just want to know, as a project manager, do I need to have programming knowledge? I don't know.
If you have programming knowledge, it's good. But I know so many project managers that are not into programming. Like I said, project manager, you can be an event planner. Event planning is projects. As a project manager, you can be a construction project manager. In this our projects, which we are doing now, I don't see how knowledge of programming is going to come in there. So even if you are into software, if you are managing software team, you are not the developer. So what are you going to? You are not the developer, and you are not the business analyst. Only if you are working, if you are taking the job of, at times we'll see hybrid, but they have to pay you for it. If you are working as a project manager and as a developer, then it means you need to have a programming language knowledge.
Okay, so aside
that doesn't mean that you will not have basic knowledge of your project, your requirement. Okay. You don't need to do. You are not. Nobody is going to prompt you to do the coding. But after they are coding, you must do some basic testing. I've captured all those things like testing, where you do during our testing. So after they are coding, even if you don't know anything about programming, let them do whatever they are doing. After doing it, and it becomes a software, and you test the software, and it didn't work the way it's supposed to be, they go back and redo it.
Okay, so what you're trying to explain is that project manager is also responsible for testing.
I didn't say that, but you are accountable for that.
Okay.
So when I say that testing, if you have been following what we are doing sequentially, when we are doing test cases or test this thing, we say that quality assurance person does testing. But in a situation where there's no quality assurance, business analyst handles everything about testing. But during the testing, it's not only the quality assurance that are going to be there or the business analyst, although they are going to plan the testing. Project manager, you are accountable. What is accountability? Making sure that it is done. Accountability is not responsibility. You know? So you make sure that it's done. We've done asymmetries where we talk about accountability and responsibilities.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah. So, Chisom Xavier, and after Chisom Xavier, we call it a night.
Good evening, Mr. Charles. Please, my question is just, I really don't know exactly how to pinpoint it, but while you're taking, like, what
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
You try again.
Can you can you hear me clearly now?
You're a bit far away from your device.
Wow, I'm actually putting my mouth in the mouthpiece. Can you hear me?
Okay, carry on.
Okay. So I said while the question and answer session was going on, I went online to get see if I could get other templates to practicalize with also, so I can probably have them in my portfolio. And there were some templates I saw that had these words, green belts assigned, black belts assigned, and I got stuck.
You want to you got to get templates to practicalize.
Yeah, like
what?
This project charter. So what I wanted to do was like have 3 different charters for like practicalizing and then just getting used to it and all. I want to use yours and then get other ones online that I can actually use and add to mine. So I saw something about green belts assigned in some templates. Green belts assigned and then someone is given that role. Black belts assigned, someone is given that role, but there was no explanation as to what they do. So I just wanted to make you have an idea of what that entails.
You just follow. You have to understand our own template first. Understand what we are doing first before you can start exploring. Because if you get your, like I said earlier, if you choose, I'm not discouraging people from exploring, but try to understand the one you are being taught first before you want to compare. You've not even tried to use our own first to understand. Black belts, green belts, white belts, yellow belts, these are belts within Six Sigma. So maybe they are producing the project method they are using is Six Sigma. So in Six Sigma, we have green belt, we have white belt, we have yellow belt, these are have black belt. So it means that people working within that project, team members, you need to have relevant Six Sigma certification. So that is it. But it depends on, like I said, it depends on the approach you are using. If you are using structured approach, which is very popular, like waterfall or agile approach, you are not going to do that.
Okay.
But start from crawling before you start trying to run. Six Sigma are for senior IT professionals, those who have gone through the basics.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for following, and we're going to bring tonight's session to an end. And I believe with the level of information we've created, everybody here, even if you are not here in this class, if you watch the video and go through the documents, you should be able to produce a simple project charter, and after going through the video, going through the resources, and you cannot do that, then you can get back to me.